Do. What's going on, everybody? It is your boy Dylan Mathews and
EG, I'm in the building.
Yes, sir. We got EG in the building too. You already know what's going down. NBA trade deadline 2022 version has come and gone, and we are here to break it all down.
We got a lot of things to talk about.
We got a lot to talk about.
So, first of all, y'all already know the biggest thing. James Harden, Ben Simmons, instant reaction. Oh, my bad. Let me finish. James Harden and Paul Millsap for Ben Simmons, Andre Drummond, Seth Curry, and 2 first-round picks. You good?
I just feel like turning my hat around. I didn't like the vibe it was giving backwards, so I had to turn it around.
So, what was y'all instant reaction to that trade?
Brooklyn got a whole lot better. Brooklyn got some much-needed defense. They don't even. The crazy part is they don't need Ben Simmons to do anything offensively, and I know that's his biggest thing and where his mental space is going to be at. Apparently, Rich Paul said that KD and Ben Simmons had already been in talks. They're on the same page. KD was like, "Hey, bro, as long as you give us what you got defensively, me and Kyrie can do what we do offensively."
And Seth Curry.
I just need you to go in there and play defense, and that's all I really need from you, big homie. Ben was like, "Yeah, all right," and then I'll dunk it every now and again.
But Ben said, "I got y'all in transition."
Right. So I think the Nets got a whole lot better, and if James Harden hamstrings are okay, and he actually wants to be in Philly, which I think he does, because I think that Daryl Morey connection is pretty strong. I think it's stronger than a lot of people think. So if James Harden is motivated, he actually wants to be there, and him and Joel can make it work in Philly, Philly is a lot better too. But y'all are losing some pieces, but y'all were able to keep Matisse Thybulle. That was big. So I like it for both teams, but I think Brooklyn won that trade just slightly.
Yeah, I agree too. Yeah.
What do you think, Eric?
I'm on the same page. The first thing you think of is who won the trade? And I think both sides improved, but I give Brooklyn that slight edge. So from a Philly perspective, okay, you had to give up Seth Curry, but who do you get back? James Harden. You know what I mean? So folks were concerned about the loss of shooting, but James Harden can shoot that 3 ball. You know what I'm saying? He's not 49% from 3 or whatever that high clip that Seth Curry was at. But, it's James Harden. You know what I'm saying? And he's going to distribute the ball to the wings at the same time. And him and Joel Embiid in that pick and roll, that 1-2 punch, that's going to be crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I will say that, the Sixers did lose some size, down low with giving up Andre Drummond. So if they would have kept him, I think they would kind of been on par a little bit. But in terms of just on the court, the Sixers, they also improved. And they essentially, when you think about it, Ben Simmons wasn't playing, right? And they're still, in playoff contention, you know what I'm saying? And so what they essentially did was pretty much swap nothing and got James Harden and Paul Millsap. You know what I mean? And they gave up stuff, but the main pieces, was Ben Simmons and James Harden. So they pretty much just gave away nothing because they weren't getting anything from Ben Simmons and gain James Harden. So, that's a big up for them from that perspective. So it's only up for both teams. But I do give Brooklyn that slight edge because when you think about it, you kept Patty Mills. Mm-hmm. I know he's hurt right now, but you think about next season, you still got Joe Harris. You got Seth Curry. You got 3 pretty good 3-point shooters
outside of KD and Kyrie.
And you got the mega distributor with Ben Simmons. And you got size down low with Andre Drummond because they was thin down there in that post area. You know what I'm saying? Andre Drummond can do some things. And you got better defensively with an a first team all NBA defensive guy with Ben Simmons, which is where the Nets were lacking at, anyway. So it's you got depth, you got shooters, you didn't really need James Harden. You upgraded on the defensive end. If anything, Kyrie and KD gonna get off that much more, And they got 2 first-round picks.
Yeah.
Out of all of it.
Out of all that, you got 2 first-round picks.
I definitely agree. Both teams definitely got better because, like we were saying, the Sixers weren't Ben Simmons was a zero. He was a non-factor. So they just added an all-star in James Harden. The only reason why I think the Nets had the slight edge is because the Nets didn't need anything but for KD to be healthy and but for Kyrie to be able to play, be available come the playoff times. But the Nets added, like we said, a mega distributor in Ben Simmons. Kyrie and KD don't need a facilitator because they can do it themselves. Now they got somebody in Ben Simmons who can set them up, make them even better. And can Kyrie and KD even get any better? Plus, like I keep saying, Seth Curry and Tobias Harris had their best numbers playing beside Ben Simmons, playing with Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons finding them in their spots. So I'm just saying, like, just imagine Kyrie and KD getting set up by Ben Simmons, 2 plus the defense. And I think the Sixers, like, because a lot of people like, oh, is Ben Simmons going to shoot for the Nets? The only reason why Ben Simmons not shooting with the Sixers was a problem was because nobody outside Joel Embiid could create their own shot. They don't need Ben Simmons. They got KD who could close out a game. They got Kyrie close out the game. All they got to do is get the ball to KD and get the ball to Kyrie, and they could go to town.
Yeah.
But they added Seth Curry too, and then like I said, the Sixers got better, but the only thing is the Sixers still have questions to answer because now we don't have a backup center behind Embiid.
Right.
Now we still don't have a backup point guard. That was a problem that we had last season with Ben Simmons. We didn't have a point guard coming off the bench, and we still don't have that. So it's just back when Embiid is gone. That's what killed us in the Hawks series. We was getting zero value off the bench. But overall, the buyout market's still there. The Sixers just need to get somebody behind Embiid because that was a problem last season, and that's going to be a problem. But shoot, I'm just ready to
right. And then you think about it too, man. You think about like now the Nets can have, at least one of them on the floor at all times. And, there can always be a go-to guy, whether, it's Ben Simmons or Kyrie Irving or Kevin Durant. Mm-hmm. You always got a guy you can go to at one time. They'll always be on the floor one time. And then all the shooting you'll have around those guys. And they can, besides Ben Simmons, obviously, they can all shoot. So just the shooting and the spacing of the floor that they all can have, I mean, that the Nets are going to have some dangerous lineups out there when they're all playing.
They can be pretty versatile. I mean, you mentioned the shooting, you got the shot creation, and then they got size now too. I mean, you got KD, you got LaMarcus Aldridge, you got Blake Griffin, you got Ben Simmons. You know what I mean? Like that's a lot of size, and they wasn't having that size. And with Ben Simmons, he can guard 1 through 5, like excellent. You know what I mean? I just saw a clip where he was, I think he stripped somebody on the 3-point line. They passed it over to the corner. He made it all the way over to the corner. They shot the 3 and he blocked it. Like in the same play. You know what I mean? Like you get that defensive versatility, and that's gonna make the other guys, step up as well. Because defense is just effort.
Right.
Not everybody can play, Ben Simmons level defense, but you can play better defense if you just put forth more effort. And so you add, a guy like that who's gonna make everybody else around him better defensively. Brooklyn's kind of scary right now, and people are saying, "Oh, they didn't get much, with Ben Simmons." Like, bro, he don't gotta shoot.
He don't gotta shoot. Like I said, KD and Kyrie, you don't have to shoot. Those guys don't need somebody setting them up. Both of those guys, you got 2 guys who can create their own shot alone. The problem was Embiid needed to be set up. Embiid couldn't do too much ball handling. Seth Curry last season he was just a catch and shoot guy, really. Tobias Harris, again, like he could slash and attack, but he wasn't on the perimeter doing no shot creation. They needed Ben Simmons, somebody else outside of Embiid to create their own shot. The Nets don't need that. So that's different. But I got to get in this comment. Big Homie 215 said,
Big Homie.
Didn't the Nets have great shooters outside of KD and Kyrie last season? What's the difference? Kyrie was hurt. James Harden wasn't helping KD out, whether it was his hamstring or he was ready to go from the Nets. What the problem was, KD didn't have help against the Bucks. James was busted and Kyrie was hurt. Yeah, so Joe Harris stumped the shit up.
Yeah, Joe Harris was hot garbage last year in the playoffs. He couldn't make nothing.
They also just, I think that was their first year all together too. They didn't really have chemistry. New coach Steve Nash, so Didn't really get a chance to gel on top of,
the Bucks and top of playing the Bucks.
Yeah.
With no Kyrie and with James limping.
Yeah, they couldn't stop.
Even now, you guys saw it, they only played 16 games together overall. Like, that's including last season and this season. So they never truly got to, even though they were 13-3 when they all played together. I mean, because when you just have that much power on the court, you're going to win games. So that's even with them not being able to probably fully gel. So when they fully would have gelled, I mean, who knows what they could have done, but now with all them three, I mean, they'll figure it out. And like you were saying, Symone, like Ben Simmons, literally, he'll be fine just facilitating and playing defense. Like that's literally all he really has to do. He doesn't to contribute any offensively, really, besides getting some assists.
I got a prediction though.
What you got?
I think Ben Simmons is gonna shoot a 3-pointer with the Brooklyn Nets. They make it.
Just one? Or
at least one.
He shot one with the Sixers last season.
Wasn't that preseason? Wasn't that preseason?
His debut, bro. He gonna shoot one in his debut.
He's not shooting one in the debut.
I think he gonna knock at least one down.
He's not that sassy. He's not that sassy. Where he.
Hey, that would be hilarious though. If his first shot with the Brooklyn Nets was a 3, and if he made it,
right?
That
and if he made
crazy.
it,
but imagine that too, though. Like, imagine if he does start to spread the floor, then they're unstoppable. Like,
if Ben Simmons starts to, even if if he starts to shoot just a little bit, like mid-range jumpers, not even if he's spraying from 3-point line, but if he's starting to shoot mid-range jumpers, going to the basket, doing work in the post, like being the Ben Simmons everybody knows he can be. If they get that version of Ben Simmons, it's over with. The league is over. I mean, you might as well go ahead and make the Nets the NBA champion because nobody else really stopping them. The Bucks have a chance. The Suns have a chance, but I don't know.
Since y'all, okay, first, all right, let's get into something else. So, Kristaps Porzingis is now with Washington. He's with the Wizards. Bertans and Dinwiddie is with the Mavs.
That's a good deal for the Mavericks.
We got to talk about that. And then, two, the Cavs, a team that was already hot, basically got Karis LeVert for nothing.
We got to talk about the Cavs.
Which one we talk about first?
Let's talk about the Cavs.
Let's talk about the Cavs.
Because the Cavs is scary, bro.
Yeah,
Not only do the Cavs have they got offensive firepower with Karis LeVert, but a team that was nasty and scary already defensively got another long, athletic defender too. Them boys is long. Like they got Darius Garland. I mean, Darius Garland the biggest. I don't even remember who played the 2 for them. But then you got Karis LeVert at the 3, and then Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen at the 4 and 5.
Yeah.
Like what? It's a block party every night in
Cleveland. And they're gelling too. They are gelling.
And then Kevin Love, he finally playing motivated again, coming off the bench, just spraying threes, making them outlet passes. Like the Cavaliers, that's a team where everybody knows their role, everybody's happy with their role, and you can tell they all like playing with each other. They're great defensively. I mean, the Cavs are back, bro. The Cavs are scary. I can't even lie.
I wouldn't say they're back, but they.
Bro, I'm telling you, Eric.
But when you say they're back,
that makes you think LeBron James, Kyrie.
Okay, I won't say back, but I'm telling the Cavs are back to being contenders.
Yeah.
They back to being, I
wouldn't call them a contender, but they've improved. I mean, because when you think about contender, at the end of the day, you got to have players and like superstar players. I mean, they got a lot of good talent. You know
it's just like you do make a point. You got to have 2 superstars in this day and age. When I say contender, I mean that means championship, not just deep playoff run.
Right.
You got to have 2 stars.
Because what the Cavaliers become now, they're a really good team, but what they become at most is the Atlanta Hawks of LeBron. You know what I mean? Like you win 50, 60 games and they get bounced in the first or second round, because
think about who they'll be having to play in the first round.
I think they'll definitely get out in the first round. Now I think they could make it all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals, but I don't see them beating the Nets, especially the
Nets. Making it to the finals.
No, the Eastern Conference Finals.
Oh, but
I can see them making it that far. But like y'all was saying, I think that's their season.
No,
y'all don't think so?
No.
Outside of the Sixers, the Nets, the Bucks, the Bulls.
I'm not gonna cap, bro. The Cavaliers could beat the Sixers. I'm not lying.
Really? Who's stopping Joel Embiid?
The Jared Allen and Evan Mobley.
Okay, but y'all, Cavs Sixers this Saturday. I'm really excited to see this Cavs. No. Joel Embiid is a matchup nightmare. I just don't see anybody. Jared Allen. We played Jared Allen in the Nets, and that was not a matchup at all. When Jared Allen was in the Nets versus Embiid.
Jared Allen different now, bro. I'm telling you, different.
He not
even be part of it. It might be Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley different too now.
Oh, Evan Mobley is a rookie. Evan Mobley is a rookie, very much skinny. He's not touching Joel.
He's not touching Joel.
Jared Allen is.
We're gonna find out Saturday. We're gonna find out Saturday because they play Saturday.
Jared Allen is pretty nice, but nobody's stopping Embiid. I mean, he ran through DeAndre Ayton. He ran through 4 guys on the Suns. What was it, last night or the other night? Like Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, especially Evan Mobley, are not stopping Joel.
Let me just say this. You know, nobody can stop Joel Embiid. It's like KD. You can't, when you get to that level, you can't be stopped. You can get they can neutralize him though, I think, but they can't stop him.
They can't neutralize him. That means what?
But let me say this too though. You know, it's at the end of the day too. Joel Embiid can only do so much, and we saw that last year.
Okay.
And if James Harden could be right, and they could get all the way done. But you know, what if James doesn't work out? You know, I mean,
they're gonna work out.
I know it was totally different last year. The Hawks situation was totally different, but the Hawks did beat them last year, and nobody thought that was possible. I'm just saying, the Cavs are good, y'all. The Cavs are really good.
No,
they're good. We're agreeing on that, but they're not great.
I think the Cavs could beat the Sixers.
Cavaliers are really good. They are, but the Cavs aren't. And like Frederick made a good point. By the time fourth, Jared Allen guarded Embiid fouled out by the fourth. I'm saying.
And then what you got?
If we talk about James Harden 100% and Joel Embiid, the Cavs don't stand. If James Harden is right, which we gotta assume he is. James Harden 100%, Joel Embiid 100%. They're gonna run through that Cavs team. I'm sorry.
That Cavs team is deep too.
Like 80%.
They deep. That Cavs team is deep too. They got some dudes coming off the bench. Laurie Markkinen, Kevin Love. Now I know Kevin Love washed up, but he's playing a lot better. Isaac Okoro.
Thank you, big homie. He couldn't stop him before. What's different?
Evan Mobley might be guarding him, bro. I'm saying. I'm just putting it out there, y'all. I'm not saying
this. Evan Mobley is very much a rookie, and his frame can't handle Joel Embiid. I mean, Embiid is an MVP candidate. Like that's not even a question.
I'm saying if Joel Embiid is the only one going off, though, I'm gonna go back to.
But James Harden.
Yeah, and I know. I'm just saying that's if. I'm just saying this. I'm just saying, y'all.
No, you can't just say some shit like that. That's very much hot take.
I'm just saying.
You said Evan Mobley can guard Joel Embiid, bro. Come on, come on.
They're very good defensively. They're deep.
Okay. All right, let's
Don't be surprised.
He said put down the Kool-Aid, son. Can't stop catfishing.
I'm not. Okay.
Okay, y'all. All right. Let me ask y'all this.
Gotta put down that Kool-Aid.
What y'all think? Because Diller got his Hawks people in the chat. We gotta show them some love. The Hawks was real loud and chirping. Travis Slake talking about, major moves is coming. A month ago, Travis Slake was like, big moves coming. Everybody available but Trae Young and Clint Capella. Y'all, it's 8:50 p.m. It's been about 6 hours since the deadline, and y'all ain't do shit. How you feel about that?
I definitely think we could have, made. I would have liked to move us getting Derek White. Not nothing major, just tweak a little bit and get a little bit better defensively because I still think we need to get better defensively. But what happened is that Travis scared them boys and them boys started playing better. Now the Raptors had our number and we got. We tripped up a little bit, but still the last 12 games we're 9-3. We're beating the Suns, who was on the longest winning streak in the NBA. We snapped their 11-game winning streak. So we started playing better. Guys started playing a little bit more motivated. And so Travis was like, okay, well, I'm going to ride it out and I don't want to, shake things up because this team is actually looking like the team that we're going to be last year. Mm-hmm. So did I want them to make a move? Yes. But unless it was for a mega superstar, I wouldn't want them to make the deal had to be just right. Whether it's for a Derek White, maybe a Marcus Smart, or if they was getting a superstar, if they was trying to make that Ben Simmons move.
Get Jeremy Grant.
I mean, but if you think about it though, Jeremy Grant means we're trading John Collins, and right now John Collins had a pretty good couple of games. So I'm not sure, I don't think that was the right move at the time. It's all about
let me
timing.
ask you this.
It's about timing. Timing just didn't seem right to make a move.
So y'all done pack your season up.
No, we didn't pack our season up.
We're on the rise.
Right now we aren't where we want to be. But right now, if the playoffs start today, we would be in the play-in. So we have an opportunity to get to the playoffs. Now, is that where we want to be? No. But there's still some season left. We got some winnable games coming up. I mean, now I know the Pacers team is way different, but we took care of business against the Pacers team we're supposed to take care of. Hopefully we'll beat the Spurs tomorrow. So we still got season left. We can still get into a decent spot. And we started off real bad. The COVID situation. Ever since Westbrook put that dress on. But COVID hit us hard, and we lost a lot of games during COVID. But we were playing bad before then. The defense has gotten better. Guys are playing better, stepping up. So it's just the time it wasn't right to make a trade because it seemed like we were gelling more. Like I said, 9-3 in the last 12 games. So. Just the time wasn't right.
It's giving first round exit.
Probably, but I say 6 to 7 games. I think they'll put up a fight.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we'll see. We still got some things to improve on, but we are playing better. So yeah, like I said, I will say this. I think we'll be slightly more motivated in the playoffs, and I know that's bad to say, but if we get in the playoffs, I think we'll be a tough out just because Trae Young gonna be more motivated. Everything ratchets up a little bit more in the playoffs. So I just want to get in the dance because when we get in the dance, I think we're gonna hit a little bit different than we are right now.
So Eric, what's your assessment of the Atlanta Hawks?
Dylan kind of said everything, man. Those guys started out really bad and are now on the rise. They're either getting the play-in or I think at most that is a play-in, but they won't get that 6 seed probably. But you never know. But they are playing some pretty good basketball last 10, 12 games. I watched that Suns game, and that was a pretty good game. And Trae Young is looking real good. They're looking like they, moving that ball around. So, but like you said, they're not getting past the first round, I don't think. Just because of what we talked about, that top of the Eastern Conference is pretty stacked right now. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if the Hawks are really all the way there defensively consistently. So, but Trae Young is playing some really good basketball. The rest of the Hawks are as well. I mean, they're on the rise right now, but, again, in terms of playoffs,
it's just some tough teams in the East.
I think it depends on our matchup too. Depending on who we get matched up with, something might favor us or not favor us. So it's about matchups too and who we get matched up with. So
yeah.
So Jadis said, Eric, who's your basketball team?
I don't really have a favorite basketball team. But yeah, the Lakers do piss me off right now, though. I say that.
We got to move on to the Lakers. Eric, what you think about what's going on?
When I watch the Lakers, you want to blame Russell Westbrook, and he is playing bad for his standards, right? He's missing shots in a very bad way, shooting the top of the backboard, things like that. He's never been a great shooter, but he's always had, a team that it's his, right? He's averaging triple doubles. He had way too much around him, so he had to make something shake. This is a different type of team where he's not the man, right? He's the third option. So that's a psychological shift. And in his style of play, doesn't really work with that team the way it's constructed. Right. So that's one thing. He's not really playing well at all, on offensively or defensively. When I watch him, especially in clutch moments, guys are getting right by him. I watched that Knicks game. RJ Barrett had that dunk at the end of the game. He blew right by Russell Westbrook. I think it was the end of the game. He blew right by Russell Westbrook. And it was just like, I think old Russ could have stopped something like that. But that's just Russell Westbrook. But the rest of the team doesn't play defense either. They don't have much of an offense. They don't have much of a flow. LeBron James is playing well. Anthony Davis is coming back, and he's playing well. But they can't guard anybody. Every time you look at the box score, somebody off the bench of the opposing team or some unknown player, they're going off for 20, 30 points, in conjunction with their, regular starters. So they can't guard anybody. And the league knows that, and they're the Lakers, so they get their best, you know what I'm saying, every night. So the Lakers are just bad, like particularly defensively. They're just bad. They can't guard anybody. So
let me ask you this, Eric Graham.
Yeah.
So John Wall in a first-round pick was offered for Westbrook, and they didn't do the deal. What you think? Should they do that deal, or was it not even worth it?
What would that change?
Yeah, I agree.
I feel like John Wall and Russell Westbrook are really the same player.
They're not the same player, but they're
archetype.
Similar type of players, right?
Yeah.
And John Wall, like, I don't know how well he's going to be playing, being the third option. He's more, I guess he'd be a bit of a better shooter, but that's not saying much because Russell Westbrook can't shoot, period.
Right.
But it wouldn't really change much. The Lakers would still be bad defensively. Everybody's old and just kind of and they're not on the same page in terms of with defensive chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
And they really can't even hit shots outside of LeBron James and Anthony Davis consistently either.
When Anthony Davis is healthy playing.
I mean, like he's playing healthy now, but
today Davis.
Yeah, I mean Anthony Davis playing well now that he feel like.
But I'm saying he was out. He's been out. They wouldn't be. What are they? So well below 500. If day-to-day Davis wasn't day-to-day for so dang long.
Well, that is true, but also too. I mean, Russell's role was supposed to.
It was, but Russ is. I don't even know. I can't even play. Yes, Russ was supposed to be the guy that came in and could win them games with LeBron out and with AD out.
And he didn't do that.
And he ain't do that.
Yeah.
But the Lakers can't play defense. You got when you watch the game, like it's not just Russ. It's not just the fact that AD was out.
Oh,
the team can't guard anybody. Period. You know what I'm saying? Like they just lost to the Portland Trailblazers, and they don't have Damian Lillard, and they just shipped some of their best role players out. And Anthony Simons went off for 29. They can't guard anybody, and it's been like that pretty much all season. Like before the Memphis Grizzlies, before we knew who they were, I think they was up on the Lakers big time without Ja Morant. And it was like earlier in the season, and I think that was with Anthony Davis. I might be wrong, but they just haven't been able to guard anybody for the entire season. So, I mean, you can blame Russell Westbrook because he is playing poorly, but also they just can't. They can't guard anybody.
And Wallace made a good point. They don't have a deep bench. They're not deep at all. Why Tyler Horton Tucker got the ball so dang much?
Right.
That's the problem.
Right.
But y'all, let me ask you this.
If this was what is it, 2022? If this was 2015, oh man, you know what I'm saying? They're going to the finals, right? But everybody on that bench, you know what I'm saying? They got Canes and Walkers and Crutches, you know what I'm saying? Like they old and hurt, so it's
Melo hasn't played necessarily bad. I mean, he can't play defense, but we already knew that. But shooting wise, Melo has been straight, but he's been hurt too.
But he's 50, right?
Yeah, but he's been hurt.
Y'all, so a lot of people in the chat have been bringing up the Indiana Pacers. Obviously, the Pacers got Tyrese Halliburton. Man. That's a young king right there.
I can't believe the Kings traded him. Speaking of the Kings,
right? That's a young king. He should have been a long-term king, but they got Tyrese Halliburton. Now Miles Turner, Miles Turner was on the trade block, but once they got Tyrese, Miles was like, once they traded away Symone and got Tyrese, Miles was like, oh shoot, I'll stay. I'm good with that.
Because think about that, Miles wanted a bigger role, and Symone was kind of taken away from that in the post game because they was both kind of working out the post. So
I like the team. Malcolm Brogdon, he's
hurt.
Yeah, he's hurt.
He's still on the team.
But again, love the team. Love Tyrese Halliburton. Dude can ball.
Yeah.
But again, like the Hawks, they just don't have a superstar yet.
Yeah.
Given first round exit.
If they're not even going to make the playoffs this year, they already too far down the hole.
If they make the playoffs, first round exit.
They got a lot of work to do. They only got 19 wins on the season.
Tyrese is the truth, bro.
So I think they build them towards next year because they're gonna have to go on a big run to make the play in this year.
Dang, Sean Kim, why you gotta get all morbid and shit?
Dang.
I mean,
Sean.
That's a good comment, though. I mean,
Not that great.
But yeah, Tyrese Halliburton, that's a young baller. I wanted him when the Kings said they opened up shop. I was like, boom, get Tyrese Halliburton on the Sixers. I don't care what we got to do with
Why did they give him away though? Like
they all in on De'Aaron Fox. But my only thing is when De'Aaron Fox was hurt those 6 games or whatever, Tyrese was balling better numbers than De'Aaron Fox. Yeah. So I don't get why you would. I would have chose Tyrese in that small little rookie deal and all that potential.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, they did get a good piece back to Sabonis, but
yeah, they did. Sabonis had a good debut too. He had like 22 points and I think he had a double-double. I can't remember.
Yeah, he had a double-double for sure.
Yeah, he had a good debut though. So.
Yeah.
So last season, Eric, I feel we doing a lot of talking about these teams, but I feel like we need to talk about what's real and what's not.
Okay.
In the East, that is. We've been. We can talk about the West, but the East is. I feel like we're all the juicy content. We done talk all this talk about the Nets, the Sixers. 2 teams we need to talk about because people keep talking in my comments. First of all, one, are the Nets or the Sixers beating the Bucks? And we gotta, when we say the Nets or the Sixers, we just gotta, like you doing math, just act like James, everyone's 100%. Act like Kyrie's 100%, KD, like a fully healthy Nets, a fully healthy Sixers. Are they beating a fully healthy Bucks? Also, what's up with the Heat and Bulls? Because I have a lot of people saying the Heat winning it all, the Bulls winning it all. We got to address the Heat and the Bulls, too.
So let me say this. So the Heat, the Eastern Conference before today, I felt like it was kind of a toss-up up top. I felt like, okay, the Heat could come out. You know, they're playing pretty well, good cohesion basketball. They're all tough, rough riders, whatever. The Bucks, you know, defending champs, Giannis unstoppable. Everybody knows their roles, and they played them really well. Right. The Bulls, they kind of on and off, right? They started out really hot. As of late, they've been sliding, but they got, you know, some good stuff going on there. And then the Cavs, you know, we talked about the Cavs. But that top 3, I felt like those were kind of, you know, a toss-up. But after today's moves and everybody being healthy, I would say that the Nets can beat the Bucks for sure because of what we opened up with, that versatility and stoutness defensively. And, you know, you won't be able to stop them healthy. I feel like the 76ers will be a pretty good matchup in terms of Bucks versus Sixers. You got Joel Embiid and Giannis down low. They kind of cancel each other out. I think. So you got, you know, the Bucks role. You got the Bucks and Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday kind of versus James Harden. You know, and Tyrese Halliburton. Not Tyrese Halliburton. What's his name? Maxey. Yeah, I feel like, you know, it will come down to them who performs better. You know what I'm saying? And that will kind of determine that series in my eyes. Because the Bucks, they're a really good team, and Doc Rivers is a pretty good coach, but you know, when it comes down to clutch time, you know, he's known for choking. So
yeah,
you know, the Nets for sure can beat the Bucks. The Sixers, it will, you know, come down to, you know, clutch moments and who plays well in terms of their non number ones. But outside of that, I don't see the Heat beating the Bucks. I don't see the Cavaliers beating the Bucks. I don't see the Bulls beating the Bucks. They're very much phony, the Bulls.
Not phony.
They are. I mean, you got
crazy.
They are. I mean, you got good talent with Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan. You know, you got Vucevic down there, but I mean, again, they started off pretty hot, pretty well, but I don't believe in them when I watched them, and they've been sliding as of late. So, and then who do they have to stop Giannis?
Yeah, that's the only thing. When it's somebody like the Bulls or the Heat, the 3 top teams, who can stop Embiid? Who can stop Giannis? Who can stop Kevin Durant?
Nobody.
Those bottom teams, they don't have that answer. Like Embiid, Giannis, KD, Embiid, KD, Giannis. They got that. There's nobody down below that can stop any one of those 3 players. Like,
right. You know what I mean?
That's my only thing.
Yeah.
So it's like you said, everybody healthy. I'm looking at my screen now. I'm looking at the Eastern Conference standings, and again, outside of Nets, Bucks, Sixers, it's a toss up between those next tier 3 teams. And after that, it's just kind of like nobody else matters.
If I had to rank the 3, I'm going Nets, Bucks, and then Sixers.
Yeah,
that's
same.
my 3. The Nets are beating the Bucks and the Sixers. If I had to choose between Bucks and Sixers, I'm still going Bucks because James Harden
players are just elite.
Exactly.
The role players are role players.
The Bucks bench and the Bucks role players are way better, in my opinion, than the 76ers role players. So James Harden and Joel Embiid would literally have to be otherworldly, plus their teammates are going to have to still contribute some. And I think the Bucks role players would just be way better and way more consistent at that. So I would definitely take the Bucks over the Sixers. But Nets, Bucks, I just think the firepower on the Nets is still too much. And to me, Kevin Durant is the best player in the NBA right now. He's taking that step over LeBron. If I had to choose LeBron or KD, I know it'd be tough, Eric. I know, bro. I know. And I love LeBron. And I respect LeBron. But I still think I want KD. And it hurts a little bit to say that because I love LeBron. I respect LeBron so much. But realistically, I think I got to choose KD.
See, my thing is, I got to agree.
Because KD, you just can't stop. I mean, you can't stop LeBron, but you really can't.
Look, we moving on. You hot takey tonight. First you said the Cavs beat the Sixers.
Okay.
You just real hot. Let me break this down.
Just wait till y'all see. I don't think I'm crazy.
Okay, because there's some hot people in here talking. First of all, we all know Trae Young is an all-star. The problem, nobody's saying Trae Young isn't an all-star. What we're saying is there's no other all-star beside Trae Young. You gotta have 2 all-stars in this NBA. Shoot, sometimes 3 of them to win a championship. Trae Young, look at Damian Lillard.
Yeah.
Damian Lillard alone couldn't do shit.
And realistically,
you gotta have a superstar. You gotta have a top 5 superstar. And then you got to have an all-star paired with him. Trae Young alone is just not enough. It's just not enough.
And realistically, about the Hawks, the John Collins isn't consistent enough for me yet. Can he get there? Yes, but right now he's not consistent enough for me. Nobody on the Hawks besides Trae Young is consistent enough for me. Can they make a run? They certainly can. But if we're talking about championships, which is obviously the ultimate goal, they're not beating the Nets in the Eastern Conference Finals. Probably not beating the Bucks in the Eastern Conference Finals. Probably at this point, if James Harden is on his P's and Q's, probably not beating the Sixers in a matchup. So the other Trae Young is Trae Young, and he's great, and we all know that. But the other guys just aren't consistent enough. When we were in the playoffs last year, everybody was hot, everybody was doing their thing. We at least next to Trae Young, we at least had one other guy that was putting in work, whether it was Kevin Huerter in Game 7 of the Philadelphia 76ers, whether it was Bogey, whether it was John Collins. We always had one other guy that was helping out Trae Young that night. So we'll need that again, but I just don't think the other guys besides Trae Young are consistent enough to really compete for a championship.
Right.
That's just being real.
The Bucks, you got Giannis. Who can stop Giannis? Nobody can stop Giannis. But
he got 44 and was 17 for 20 the other night.
I'm saying. And then you got Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton. So the players beside Giannis could be the best player on some of these other teams. If they went to some other team, they could be a best player on that team. Now, will that team go far? But they could be the best player on some other team.
Mm-hmm.
So you got this juggernaut, and there's only a couple of juggernauts.
Right. KD,
Giannis,
Joel.
Embiid, and the Joker. There's really like 4 juggernauts.
Well,
okay.
Yeah,
And LeBron.
LeBron.
But I'm saying like big man.
Oh, you talking about?
Oh, you talking about? Okay. Yeah.
LeBron is but he's a guard at the end of the day.
Yeah,
I'm saying like
he's a point forward.
Yeah. You got a juggernaut. Giannis is the only juggernaut that's got elite role players next to him. That's why the Bucks are so dangerous, in my opinion. Yes. Now, like you said, if it's Bucks Nets, just because of the spraying power of this potential Nets team, you got Kyrie and Seth Curry. You got freaking Joe Harris if he act right, and KD. Then you got Ben Simmons, who is arguably top 7, at least top 7 defender when he's right, at least top 7. I don't want to argue with y'all in the comments. Then you got that as well. I just don't see anybody beating that Nets team.
Yeah,
now, what'd you say, Eric?
I was agreeing. Yeah, nobody in the Eastern Conference is beating that Nets team. And honestly, I would probably stretch it out to the NBA and say that nobody in the league is beating that Nets team. I can see if we're keeping the Eastern Conference right now, which it seems like we're talking about, then nobody, when healthy, is beating the Nets. If we expand it and we go NBA, so East versus West, you talk about a final.
I know. I was laughing there earlier. Get out of here, but I wouldn't do that, Eric. I would not do no lines of what you were just, implying. I do not do them.
You off something?
It seemed like it, but the Warriors, though.
I want apologies from everybody when if the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Philadelphia 76ers match up. I want apologies.
That's Saturday.
I'm talking about the playoffs. I don't care about the regular season. I'm talking about if they match up in the playoffs and they don't let the Cleveland Cavaliers beat the Philadelphia 76ers in a playoff matchup, because I'm gonna need apologies from everybody. From everybody. Okay.
Anyway, yeah, the only team that can really compete with that Nets team is the Warriors in my eyes. Before today, I had the Warriors winning for sure. They can play some ball, and Draymond Green ain't even back yet. Like, the Warriors are pretty tough. You got the Suns out there, but when I'm looking, when I see Suns and I see Warriors, I'm like, man, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson back. He's shooting that thing.
Is Klay Thompson back right? I haven't seen him.
He dropped. I mean,
he wasn't. He was still trying to figure his year out.
The other night he didn't play, but he's had a couple of nights where he's dropped 20 and been pretty efficient. But like you said, you got Andrew Wiggins. Technically, he's an all-star now. And I said it last year. They struggled last year, but I knew long term, like, Andrew Wiggins can ball. I mean, he was averaging 20. You know what I'm saying, with the Timberwolves before he got there. So that's not like in the Western Conference. Like, that's still pretty admirable. You know what I'm saying? So they got him. They got my man Draymond's gonna come back. The Splash Brothers, obviously. The way those role players are playing, you got Gary Payton and what's that dude named Juan Toscano or whatever his name is.
Oh yeah, Juan Toscano Anderson.
Yeah, and that's
Jordan Poole too.
Jordan Poole. I mean, they come and they just, any one of them can drop 20 to 25. You just never know. You know what I mean? And then my man James Wiseman ain't back yet.
Oh, I forgot they had James Wiseman.
The Warriors are, and I hate to say it, but they like that. And they did it the right way, you know what I'm saying? Building through the culture, not really, adding all these super, they just did it like, the organic old school way.
Yeah.
So before today, I would have said Warriors are my pick to win the championship. But I mean, if these Nets act right, it's a different discussion from my point.
I think we got to put a little bit more respect on the Suns too, because the Suns are super consistent. Now, against the Nets, I still probably edge towards the Nets, but they compete with the Suns along with the Warriors. I agree with that. I don't disagree with anything you said about the Warriors, because the Warriors are battle tested, and they're still getting guys back, like you said. Klay's still getting all the way right. Once they get James Wiseman back, he'll be a problem too. But the Suns too, though, because the Suns to me have the perfect mix of good young guys and veteran leadership too. Obviously, Chris Paul, Jay Crowder's a dog, 3-and-D type dude. Then they got Mikal Bridges, who's he's improved as a shooter, and he's very, very good defensively, one of the best two-way players in the league. They got Cam Johnson, who's very, very good. JaVale McGee is rejuvenated again in Phoenix. Obviously, DeAndre Ayton is solid. And so, I think the Suns are a deep team too, and I think they're just really consistent, got good shooters. They got obviously Devin Booker, who's another playmaker. So I like the Phoenix Suns too. And they've been playing with a chip on their shoulder all season long. They didn't like how the finals ended. So, if it came, well, yeah, but if it came down to, Warriors Suns, that would be a really, really, really good matchup. So I wouldn't bet against the Suns either. But like you said, I can't disagree with anything you said about the Warriors, because the Warriors are like that too.
The Warriors are like that, but when it comes to Warriors Suns, in a matchup like that, when, like I said, when you don't have a juggernaut, like, you know what I'm saying, that comes down to who has the best player on the team, and that's the Warriors. Who got the best player?
Yeah.
I just
Not only do they have the best player, but the type of player, right? You got Steph Curry and Klay Thompson; they can shoot from anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Draymond distributing that thing, right? And then, like you said, I mean, you got these role players. They got Toscano, Jordan Poole.
They got some role players.
You know what I'm saying? And Andrew Wiggins.
Mm-hmm.
Any one of them on any given night can give you 20 to 25.
Yeah.
Any one of them.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get a consistent 30 from Curry. You're going to get 25, 30 from Klay. Hell, you can get 70 from him if he get hot. You know what I'm saying? Like, we seen that. And then you got these guys get just plug and play, and they just free flow. Like and when you watch,
they're like plug and play. They're like the same dudes coming in, literally. Like,
and they all light skinned. So
right, literally, that's what I said before. Like, they got the same dude.
Yeah. So and they just flow. They just flow. Their brand of basketball is just different. You know, the Suns, they real nice at what they do, but you know, it's at the end of the day, you know what you're gonna get. And, you know, you're going to get Chris Paul. He's going to hit, you know, from his two little spots right there at the free throw line, you know, each on either side. Devin Booker, he's going to operate, you know, in the mid-range and, you know, three ball here and there. You got DeAndre Ayton down, operating down low. And then you got guys that's going to shoot, you know, and play defense. But, you know, the Warriors, you got anybody that can score from any part of the floor.
Yeah.
You know, and that's hard to stop.
Right.
And they're not even all the way healthy yet. You know what I mean? So playoff time, if they all the way healthy.
Right. This about to be real juicy, bro.
Yeah.
Once we get after the All-Star week.
Man, I'm ready for the playoffs, man.
The playoffs about to go crazy. Y'all got
go crazy.
We didn't talk about the Mavs. Last week we got to talk about the Mavs. What y'all think about the Mavs?
You know, they're a good team, and I like Davis Bertans. You know, he's a shooter. He's not super great defensively, but he is another shooter around Luka. They got good shooters. They got Reggie Bullock.
Dinwiddie.
Dinwiddie is a very good pickup. I'm interested to see how they're going to use Spencer Dinwiddie, though, because obviously Luka plays the point, but Spencer Dinwiddie is a point guard, too. And with him starting in Washington, like, you know, do they plan to bring him off the bench? Are they going to use him as a two guard? Because, I mean, Spencer Dinwiddie's an okay shooter, but you know, I'm wondering how that's going to work. How are they going to use Spencer Dinwiddie? And Reggie Bullock is starting at the 2. So I don't know how they're going to use Spencer Dinwiddie. Are they going to play him at the 3? So I'm not sure if you know, he's okay with coming off the bench. So I'm just, that move kind of puzzled me a little bit, the Spencer Dinwiddie part of it. The Bertans part makes sense because, you know, you never have enough shooters. But again, when it comes down to it, the Mavs are another one of those teams where, you know, they get winning in the first round, you know. Mm-hmm. I don't think
second round exit.
Yeah, I'm feeling second round exit for the Mavs just because I don't see them making, you know, too much noise. They're a good team, they're a solid team, but they definitely not winning a championship. And like I said, I would even be surprised. I'd be very surprised they even made it to the Western Conference Finals. So yeah, I'm feeling the second round exit for the Mavs. Solid team, but they just don't have enough.
Yeah, I like that Dinwiddie pickup, but I didn't look at him as a shooter. I look at him more as a scorer.
Yeah.
Secondary, maybe tertiary scorer to Luka Doncic. And, you know, that's what you wanted with Kristaps, that secondary guy, particularly inside out, you know. But, I mean, he was never available, you know, always hurt. So when they shipped him off, I wasn't surprised. And I felt like they got a solid pickup with Spencer Dinwiddie. Now, granted, I haven't watched, you know, the Wizards, you know, closely or anything like that. But from what I remember, you know, at least when he was playing with the Nets, you know, he was a pretty decent scorer, you know, and was a combo guard. Right. So, you know, you got when Luka Doncic goes to the bench, he can play some point guard duties, but he can also, you know, move over to that too as well. So I felt like that was a decent pickup, you know, to provide a hopefully, you know, solid, consistent secondary scorer, or like I said, tertiary. But you know, outside of that, like you said, in terms of the Mavs as a whole, I mean, it doesn't move the needle. They don't jump from here to here. You know, I think they got better, just because they got somebody, I think Dinwiddie's not hurt. So they got somebody. Right, they got somebody that's available that can score the ball.
I think Bertans is hurt though. Yeah, Atlanta analysts say Bertans is injured right now. I don't know the extent of his injury, but he is injured right now.
He is one of them that say injured too.
Yeah, but KP, like, I mean, you know, they call Anthony Davis street clothes. I mean, they might as well call KP street clothes number 2.
Right.
Like, I watched the Mavs game for the night. He had on a little polo or collar shirt or whatever. I'm like,
yeah,
hey, on the bench. Well,
him and Luka had beef anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, you know, when I saw that, I wasn't surprised that they got him up out of there. And I thought that it was a solid pickup.
He took one of the biggest L's though, getting shipped to the Wizards because Bradley Beal hurt. Yeah. Like, what he about to be doing? Just
Bradley Beal hurt. They lost Dinwiddie. Who else got traded from the Wizards? Didn't somebody else get traded?
Montrezl Harrell.
Montrezl Harrell to
the Hornets, which I think was a good pickup for them.
Oh yeah, it's a good pickup for them. The Hornets just can't play no defense. That's what's stopping them.
They not play defense.
They do not play any sort. They don't know what defense is. But nah. So yeah, he's gonna be over there balling with KCP and Kuzma. So have fun with that.
I mean, Kuzma straight. You know.
I mean, Kuzma straight, but
Kuzma got better when he left the Lakers.
Yeah, but you know that's giving real maybe playing, probably
maybe playing.
But anyway, before we jump up out of here, y'all got any final thoughts on the trade deadline? Any final thoughts?
I thought the Hawks were gonna make a move. Y'all ain't do G. I thought the Lakers was gonna make a move. I thought somebody was gonna shop around the Knicks. They ain't want she even the Knicks. They said everybody available though. I don't know. I'm just surprised the Hawks didn't make a move. I'm surprised the Lakers, but am I surprised because the Lakers it's so hard for the Lakers to make a move?
Yeah, and then I will say one last thing about the Hawks. I think they won't. I think they were prepared to make a move. I just don't think the right deal was out there for the Hawks. And Travis Link is very good about, you know, like if he didn't want to force anything. He didn't want to make a trade just to make a trade. Like the Cam Reddish trade had to be made just because he didn't want to be there. But I think once that happened, they started playing better and meshing. Like, you know, I just don't think the right deal was there for the team. So I'm okay with us standing pat. You know, I would have liked a little tweak there, but it wasn't in the cards. So
it is.
Everybody wanted the Lakers to make a move, and you know, they more than likely weren't just given the Russell Westbrook contract and all the way that the team is structured. But I'm gonna say this: I don't think that the Lakers make the playoffs. If they do get into the play-in, I think they lose in the play-in and don't make the playoffs because they can't play. I'm looking at the standings right now. I mean, they can't play defense like against anybody, even the bad teams. So, and you know, defense wins championships. And even in today's day, like you still need to play some defense. Right. They look bad. When you watch the Lakers, they look bad. Defense,
they just look bad, boy.
Yeah. So, and then the only thing saving them offensively is just, you know, LeBron's playing the way he's playing. And,
and LeBron might as well sit up the rest of the season out. What he wasting them old bones for?
Well, I would because he trying to get that number one, that 30 ball, that, you know, most points all the time. So he got to play. You know what I mean? He got to get.
Come back next season once y'all figure out because Russ gonna be a free agent, so figure that out.
No, he's on the contract, right?
I thought Russ is a free agent. When I looked at Spot Track free agents, Russ, Bradley Beal was on the list.
I gotta take a look at that, but I thought he was.
Russ was a free agent. Maybe not, but
maybe a player option or something. I don't know.
All right, y'all. Well, NBA trade deadline came and went. It was brazy, and it's going to be a lot to watch out for.
I'm ready for Ben Simmons' Nets debut, and I'm ready for James Harden debut. Like, when's the debut?
March 10th. They going
head to head.
Right. We gotta go live during that game.
Facts. But the thing I'm most excited for the rest of the season
is what? Being a player in exit?
Nah, it's for the Hawks to win the NBA championship. Let's clap it up for the Hawks. Yes, sir. We going all the way, Phil. Let's get it.
Here. In and out the play-in.
Woo. Oh.
stop embarrassing yourself. You embarrass yourself this live.
Put it down.
Y'all are a playing team at best.
Put it down.
We going all the way? All the way?
All the way to the play-in and out.
Trae Young for MVP. Let's get it.
Y'all gonna be floor seats seeing them get swept.
Right. The Hawks and the Knicks were the biggest scammers of 2021.
Oh, okay. Don't compare it to the Knicks. The Knicks are way bigger scammers than them.
Hey, Cam Reddish took the biggest L of 2022.
Cam Reddish took the biggest L of 2022. My boy has played, literally, Tom Thibodeau said he did not want him. The grass ain't always greener on the other side, people. Remember that. The grass ain't always greener on the other side.
All right, Aaron. Appreciate you for jumping on.
Appreciate you, EG.
All right, y'all. We'll see you
next time.
All right.
All right, guys. Make sure y'all like this video. Y'all know what y'all got to do. Leave a comment, subscribe. Dang, Aaron said I'm out this big.
Eric said, peace. What up, Alan? Shout out to my boy, Alan Brooks.
James Harden might play tomorrow night.
Oh.
We're going to see. But,